Welcome into the Quest Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner. And on this podcast, we talk about Kentucky basketball from a fan's perspective. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about Kentucky's 74-71 win over Tennessee, a big comeback win at home, the second time this year that Kentucky has came back by double figures, 14 plus down versus the Vols. One in Knoxville and one now at home. And also, we're going to be talking about Kentucky's week off and getting prepared for Kentucky's road game coming up on Saturday against Florida with not having a game during the week, and just what this means for this Kentucky team after a big win and continuing this momentum, winning 11 out of their last 14 and trying to continue to build on that as we go forward. In this game, Kentucky, like I said, was down as many as 14 early in this game, had kind of a Kentucky kind of game. Was solid, good, kept with the Vols, was within striking distance, kept it tied, had a little bit of a lead, but early on lost the lead. And then after about the first 7-8 minutes, Kentucky just was not able to control the tempo or control Nate Amen or Gillespie from three, with those two each making 4 threes in the first half, combining for 8 made threes. And that being both of those guys, the whole team makes put together between the two of them in the first half and the whole game. Tennessee did not make a single three the rest of the game, ending up shooting 38%, 8 for 21. In Tennessee dominated the glass in this game, winning the glass 46-31, having 19 offensive rebounds to Kentucky's 8, keeping Kentucky in the single digits, where Kentucky shot 50% from the field. But this is the big number that I thought really decided the game. Tennessee only shot 37% from the field, really struggling to finish around the rim at times, and was just overall not very efficient in this game for a Tennessee team that tendencies to miss bunnies at the rim, be inefficient overall, not be a very good offensive team, even when they get a lot of chances at offensive rebounds, when Colin Gillespie and Nate Amen both play really well games, and just overall have elite first half performances, really solid second half performances, especially from Nate Amen, who had 19 points in the first half, 8 in the second, and Colin Gillespie, who did not score in the second half. He had 1 board and 4 assists, but overall, this Tennessee team was not able to finish and make shots when needed. Kentucky had some of their own misses that I thought could have potentially costed Kentucky this game, but it did not. So that was positive for the Cats, allowing them to capitalize on Tennessee's mistakes. Tennessee not being able to capitalize on our own mistakes, only shooting 37% from the field and turned the ball over 13 times when Kentucky only turned it over 9. Kentucky also picked up free throw shooting in the second half, where in the first half they really struggled from the charity stripe, not shooting the ball well at all, being abysmal from the free throw line. Ending the game shooting 59%, but it started out worse than that. Otega Owe went 1 for 4, and he shot Kentucky's first free throws. We were 0 for 4 to start from the line, with Yelovich and Otega both missing a pair. Colin Chandler went 0 for 1. Brandon Garrison, who was 5 for 5 from the free throw line last game in his 20-point-per-game performance, went 0 for 1 in this game with 4 points and 7 boards. I thought he was solid in his 17 minutes, but was overall one of, I thought, Kentucky's better bench performances in this game, where Kentucky didn't get a whole lot offensively, but still got some solid production from their bench, with Trent Noah having 2 points, Modi Abate having 4 points, Brandon Garrison having 4 points, and Jasper Johnson having 4 points. In the bench combining for 10 rebounds also, while having 4 assists. So that was pretty good production from the bench unit. Didn't have anybody that overall stand out and really had an elite level offensive game, but everyone was balanced and understood their role, and especially in the second half, really was able to lock down defensively, understand the defensive identity of this team to create offense from their defense while only allowing 24 points scored in the second half, allowing 47 points in the first half. And Kentucky being able, like I said, to maximize on Tennessee's mistakes, inability to finish around the rim, not understanding the tempo of the game, the pace. Tennessee tried to push it a few too many times, allowing this Kentucky team to get some transition points. But overall, I thought Tennessee did a pretty good job taking Kentucky out of their transition opportunities. I talked a little bit about Nate Amen. He was very efficient in this game, 10 for 17, 4 for 6 from three. He had 8 boards and 3 assists. They had 4 turnovers. Had a couple bad passes that allowed Kentucky to get some runouts. But overall, I thought he was a really good player in this game. Played 35 minutes for the Vols. Thought he was solid defensively. He's just so long and has good lateral quickness. Offensively, he had 29 points. And Gillespie and Nate Amen, when they started to cool off, this Tennessee offense truly started to cool off. Those two combined for 32 of Tennessee's 62 attempts. About half of their total attempts as a team came from just 2 starters. So overall, this team, like we talked about in the past, is very top heavy when it comes to offensively, especially. Otega Owe had the defensive assignment of Nate Amen in the first half. I don't think he did a great job on him defensively. He does some things sometimes on the defensive perimeter where he gambles a little too much. He overplays the lane. Overall, he's just struggled sometimes if he's not that help defender, especially against longer, taller, more athletic wings who can shoot over the top of him and have really good overall feel, understand the pace of the game. And a couple times Tennessee was able to burn him, and especially Nate Amen after he got just a couple steps too far one way or tried to create a steal and missed a couple of those opportunities that he sometimes gets. I thought Kentucky did a good adjustment, understanding Otega's a good defender, but right now he's not locked in on exactly how we need him to guard Nate and some of these other pieces that this Tennessee team has. So they were able to shift over and be able to more focus on Otega Owe guarding Gillespie and have some of our other guards be able to deny him and take away his shot, his ability to put on the floor, and really just be able to limit his offensive capabilities in the second half, only being able to score 8 points for the Volunteers. Kentucky only had 3 guys in double figures this game. Otega Owe did pick it up in the second half, and defensively in the second half was, I thought, better and was better with the pace of the game and understanding that he can't give even Gillespie when he was on him. Most of the second half, he was able to tighten up and neutralize some of their offensive capabilities. Like I said, they only scored 24 points in the second half when they scored 47 in the first. Tega did it in an efficient fashion. He was 10 for 17, 0 for 1 from three. I felt like that was one other stat that I liked. He didn't settle, only attempted 1 3. And it was kind of a bad shot. He had one that his toe was on the line. That was a okay at best shot that he made, was able to capitalize on. But overall, this Kentucky team came out with a good performance, especially in the second half, like usual. We'll see if this Kentucky team getting ready to go on the road to Tennessee and what this team could possibly do coming off a big win and to see how this first half is going to go. And we'll just have to talk about it. And that's coming up next. We're going to be talking about Kentucky's upcoming trip to Gainesville to play in the Swamp against a really talented Florida team with one of the best front lines in all of college basketball with Thomas Houck a 6'9" junior at 215. He's averaging almost 18 points, 6.4 rebounds, 2 assists, one of the better players in the SEC. Also, another guy up with Otega Owe for SEC Player of the Year. This three-man front court is legit, and this is going to be a homecoming for Denzel Aberdeen, going back to his old state where he grew up after transferring to Kentucky over the offseason. And then another guy that is very important for this Tennessee team, their strength, their front line, Ruben, a 6'10" junior. He's averaging 12 points, 11 boards, fourth in the country, and it's just an elite muscle man, rebounder, physical, not much of a floor spacer at all. Will not shoot really the three unless in the shot clock or something like that. Thomas Houck, he's been shooting around 35% from three on the season for this Florida team. That's really important for him, playing that three spot. He's made 44 threes this year in 23 games, so a little less than 2 made threes a game on 125 attempts. So that's a high volume. He's a guy that I would be willing to have a low closeout on to not give up the drive, but is still a capable shooter from the perimeter, especially if he makes his first. We're going to close out harder, but to start out the game, a guy that I would give some space to and give him some opportunities to shoot it over the top with our size, potentially putting in a Mo Diabate, Andre Yelovich, some of those kind of guys to guard him on the perimeter. Alex Condon's another important guy, part of this front line. He's going to be playing the 4, 6'11", 230, averaging 13 points, 8 boards, almost 4 assists a game. Really a non-shooter for this Florida team. Kentucky could potentially shrink the floor with him on and try to make him make some decisions. But this Florida backcourt is really starting to heat up for them, and that's the key to how they can play well. That's Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee. He's averaging about 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, only shooting 25% from three, but shot 36% last year. Not a known good shooter. Both their guards are about 6'4", him and Boogie Fland. Boogie Fland, a name that a lot of Kentucky fans should be familiar with. We talked about a little bit last year. Former Arkansas player, former Kentucky commit under John Calipari, and a guy that has a lot of talent and a lot of potential, averaging 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists as one of these lead guards for the Florida Gators. Him and Xavier Lee are, like I said, the key to this team. If they have really good perimeter production from those guards, this team has the front court to match it with some floor spacing and being able to balance that out with this Florida team really struggling to shoot from beyond the arc. And Boogie's shooting around 34% from three last year, but around 18 this year. We'll see how if this Florida team can figure that shooting piece out. This team would be really dangerous with 2 capable shooters in the backcourt. We'll see how Kentucky prepares to counteract that. This Florida team only shoots 28% from three, but against Alabama, this team scored 75 points in the paint and was really dominant. We'll see how Kentucky comes out in response with a week off and being able to game plan and be ready for whatever this Florida team is going to throw at you. And that's all from the Quest Number 9 podcast. My name is Seth Warner. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. If you want to stay up to date for new videos, go follow me at Quest Number 9 on Instagram and Twitter. I post on there when I make new episodes. And I'll see you next time. Go Cats.